Sean S. Cunningham's Friday the 13th started one of the most successful horror franchises of all time. With the success of Halloween just 2 years prior, Cunningham looked to ride the coattails of Carpenter's success. With a budget of $550,000, decent talent including actor Kevin Bacon and the legendary Tom Savini, Friday the 13th was a cultural and box office success, spawning 12 films, multiple video games, books, comics, and a whole lot more. We open with a teaser of what's to come. A male and female camp counselors sneak off to have some alone time and are eventually murdered by an unknown assailant. We then jump 21 years later. The camp is being reopened and a fresh crop of counselors are moving in early to get the place ready. We follow Annie Phillips, who after arriving at a nearby town gets a ride with a local, and we hear the history of the camp during those 21 years prior.
Did Christy tell you about the 2 kids murdered in 58? Huh? Boy drowning in 57?
She must hitchhike the rest of the way, and Annie quickly realizes the driver that picked her up is a bit sketchy. She jumps out of the Jeep, only to have her throat slashed. Back at the camp, we get to know the other counselors, and Steve the owner leaves as a thunderstorm approaches, leaving the young counselors alone in the cabin in the woods. One by one, the counselors are either lured to or stalked by the killer, who murders them each in a unique fashion. Steve returns and seems to know the killer before being killed himself. It's hard to talk about the rest of this movie without spoiling the reveal of the killer or the cliffhanger ending, so this is your warning. It is revealed that Mrs. Voorhees, Jason's mom, is the murderer, although she does appear to communicate with Jason, so it's a little unclear if he's making her do this through some supernatural means, or if she's simply seeking revenge on neglectful camp counselors because of her son on her own accord. The story is Jason drowned while 2 counselors were having sex many years ago. After the reveal and the final battle between Mrs. Voorhees and Alice jumps in a canoe and floats out into the middle of the lake, where she is then attacked by the eventual mascot-to-be of the franchise, Jason. It's interesting that Jason may not have been directly involved in most of the killings in his first movie. The mother may simply have been psychotic and not actually speaking to him. Also, we don't get that classic machete yet. Did anyone else notice that the music only plays when the killer is nearby? This first Fako scare has no music. The camp counselors are not as unlikable in later films, but there is one hilarious scene which you could not get away with these days. While Kevin Bacon and Adrienne King eventually went on to have successful careers, this was not their breakout role. And speaking of actors, did you guys know that Harry Crosby, Bing Crosby's son, is in this film? I wonder what he's doing these days. For a movie with Tom Savini attached, it is strange we don't see more of the kills on screen. And when we do, there is a surprising lack of blood and gore with these kills. The idea of Jason appearing at the end of the film was initially not used in the original script. In Miller's final draft, the film ended with Alice merely floating on the lake. Jason's appearance was actually suggested by makeup designer Tom Savini. This to me is crucial to really bring something different than Halloween and add that supernatural element. Friday the 13th feels like a low-budget version of Halloween despite having a larger budget, but the unseen killer leading to a big reveal that is in fact a female killer and then a further twist with a supernatural cliffhanger allows this movie to separate itself just enough from the inevitable comparisons. For that reason, I think it is worth watching.